In this very moment, as you hear these words, millions of people around the world are searching for something they cannot name. They scroll through endless feeds, chase after dreams that feel just out of reach, and wonder why happiness seems to slip through their fingers like water. But what if I told you that everything you have been looking for has been with you all along? Welcome, dear friend, to a journey that began over 2,500 years ago with a young prince who gave up everything to find the truth about human suffering and the path to lasting peace. His name was Siddhartha, but the world came to know him as the Buddha, which simply means the awakened one. You might think Buddhism is about sitting in complicated meditation poses or memorizing ancient texts, but that is not what we are here to explore today. Instead, we are going to discover how the gentle wisdom of the Buddha can transform your Monday morning commute, your difficult conversations, and even those restless nights when sleep feels impossible. Take a deep breath with me right now. Feel your body settling into this moment. Notice how just by paying attention to your breath, something inside you becomes a little more peaceful. This is not magic. This is not mysticism. This is simply the natural state of awareness that lives within you, waiting to be discovered. Whether you are stuck in traffic, worried about tomorrow, or carrying pain from yesterday, the teachings we will share today offer something profound yet beautifully simple. They offer you a way home to yourself. So let us begin this gentle exploration together, with open hearts and curious minds, ready to uncover the inner light that has never stopped shining within you. Now let us begin with what might seem like an unusual place to start a conversation about happiness and peace. Let us talk about suffering. But before you worry that this will be a heavy or depressing journey, let me share something beautiful with you. The Buddha's teaching about suffering is actually the most hopeful message you will ever hear, because it is the first step toward true freedom. When the Buddha spoke of suffering, he used a word called dukkha. Think of it as a wheel that is slightly off-center. It still rolls, it still functions, but there is always this subtle wobble, this sense that something is not quite right. This is what he meant by suffering. It is not just the big, painful moments in life, though those are certainly part of it. It is also that underlying feeling of dissatisfaction that seems to follow us everywhere. Have you ever noticed how even when things are going well, there is often a tiny voice in your mind whispering that something is missing? You get the promotion you wanted, but then you start thinking about the next level. You buy the house of your dreams, but then you notice the neighbors have a bigger garden. You fall in love, but then you worry about losing that love. This is dukkha. This is the gentle wobble of being human. The Buddha observed that we spend so much of our lives either wanting what we do not have or fearing we will lose what we do have. Right now, as you listen to these words, your mind might be thinking about what you need to do later, or replaying something that happened earlier. Even in this peaceful moment, notice how the mind wants to be somewhere else, someone else. But here is the beautiful truth that the Buddha discovered. This suffering, this restlessness, this constant reaching for something more is not your fault. It is not a sign that you are broken or doing life wrong. It is simply the nature of an untrained mind. Just like a puppy that has not yet learned to walk on a leash, our minds naturally pull us in every direction. The Buddha taught that this suffering comes from our attachment to things being different than they are. We attach to pleasure and want it to last forever. We attach to comfort and resist any change. We attach to our opinions and defend them as if our lives depend on it. We even attach to our suffering sometimes because it feels familiar and safe. Think about the last time you were truly worried about something. Notice how your mind kept returning to that worry, almost like touching a sore tooth with your tongue. Part of you wanted to stop thinking about it, but another part of you kept going back. This is attachment in action. This is how we create our own suffering. But remember, dear friend, recognizing this pattern is not meant to make you feel guilty or ashamed. It is meant to set you free. Because once you understand how suffering works, you can begin to see your way out of it. You can learn to work with your mind instead of against it. You can discover the peace that exists right here, right now, beneath all the worry and wanting and fear. This is why the Buddha called his first teaching a noble truth. There is something noble about finally seeing clearly what has been happening in your own heart and mind. There is something courageous about being willing to look at your own patterns of suffering with gentle honesty and infinite compassion. Now that we have gently acknowledged the reality of suffering, let us explore where it comes from. The Buddha taught that suffering has roots, just like a tree. And just like a tree, if you want to transform it, you need to understand what feeds those roots. The Buddha identified what he called the 3 poisons that create suffering in our lives. But do not worry, these are not poisons in the dramatic sense. They are more like habits of mind that we can learn to recognize and transform. The first is greed or craving. The second is hatred or aversion. And the third is ignorance or delusion. Let me share with you a story that beautifully illustrates how craving creates our suffering. In some parts of the world, people catch monkeys using a very clever trap. They take a coconut, cut a small hole in it just big enough for a monkey's hand to slip through, and place some sweet rice inside. The monkey reaches in, grabs the rice, but then cannot pull its fist back out through the small hole. The monkey is trapped, but here is the beautiful part. The monkey could be free at any moment simply by letting go of the rice. But the monkey holds on, choosing the rice over freedom. Are we not sometimes like that monkey? We hold tightly to things that trap us. We grasp onto anger because we think it protects us. We cling to old hurts because they feel familiar. We chase after pleasures that promise happiness but leave us wanting more. We refuse to let go because we believe that holding on will somehow make us safe or satisfied. The second poison is hatred or aversion. This is our tendency to push away anything uncomfortable or unpleasant. We resist change. We fight against difficult emotions. We argue with reality when it does not match our preferences. But here is something wonderful to consider. What if instead of fighting against the waves of life, we learn to surf them? The third poison is ignorance, but not the kind of ignorance that means lacking information. This is the ignorance that comes from not seeing things as they truly are. We see ourselves as separate from everything else. We believe our thoughts are absolute truths. We imagine that things will stay the same forever, or that happiness comes from getting what we want. But here is the most hopeful truth of all. The Buddha taught that suffering can end. This is his third noble truth. Just as a candle can be extinguished, the fires of craving, hatred, and ignorance can be put out. This does not mean we become emotionless robots. It means we find a different way of relating to our emotions and experiences. Think of it this way. Right now, you are listening to these words and hopefully feeling a sense of peace. In this moment, you are not suffering. You are not craving anything desperately. You are not fighting against anything. You are simply here, aware, present. This is a taste of what the Buddha called nirvana, not some distant spiritual realm, but the simple peace of not being at war with this moment. The Buddha discovered that this peace is not something we need to create or achieve. It is something we uncover by removing the obstacles that hide it. It is like cleaning dust off a mirror. The mirror's ability to reflect was always there. We just needed to clear away what was covering it. This brings us to the fourth noble truth, which is the most practical and beautiful of all. The Buddha taught that there is a path out of suffering. He called it the Noble Eightfold Path, and it is like a roadmap for living with wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. This path has three main sections. First, there is wisdom, which means learning to see clearly what is real and what is just the stories our minds create. Second, there is ethical conduct, which means living in a way that does not harm ourselves or others. And third, there is mental discipline, which means training our minds to be present, peaceful, and aware. But here is what makes this path so beautiful. It is not about perfection. It is not about never making mistakes or never feeling difficult emotions. It is about learning to work with whatever arises in your life with greater skillfulness and compassion. It is about discovering that you already have everything you need to be free. The path is not something you walk once and then you are done. It is a way of living, a way of being in the world that transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for awakening. Every conversation becomes a chance to practice right speech. Every challenge becomes a chance to practice patience. Every breath becomes a chance to come home to the present moment. Now let us explore this beautiful path that the Buddha laid out for us. Think of the Noble Eightfold Path not as a rigid set of rules, but as 8 gentle friends who want to help you live with greater peace and wisdom. Each aspect of the path supports all the others, like flowers in a garden that help each other grow. We begin with right understanding, which is learning to see life as it truly is rather than through the lens of our fears, desires, and assumptions. Right understanding means recognizing that everything changes, that our happiness does not depend on controlling everything around us, and that we are all interconnected in ways we rarely notice. Imagine you are looking at a river. With right understanding, you see that the water is always flowing, always changing, and that trying to stop it would be both impossible and unnecessary. You learn to appreciate the river's beauty without needing to possess it. This is how we can learn to relate to our own lives. We can enjoy the flow without desperately trying to control every current. Right intention is the beautiful commitment to live with kindness, to seek understanding rather than conflict, and to let go of what harms us or others. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice about what kind of day you want to create. Right intention is like setting a gentle compass for your heart. It asks, what would love do here? What would wisdom choose? Let me share something simple you can try. Before you get out of bed tomorrow morning, take just one moment to set an intention for your day. Maybe it is to listen more deeply to the people you meet. Maybe it is to be patient with yourself when things do not go as planned. Maybe it is simply to notice one beautiful thing that you might otherwise overlook. This is right intention in action. Right speech is one of the most powerful practices we can cultivate. Our words have the ability to heal or to harm, to create connection or division, to spread peace or to spread suffering. Right speech means speaking truthfully, but also speaking kindly. It means not using our words as weapons when we are angry, and not using them to gossip or spread negativity. There is a beautiful teaching that before you speak, you can ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If your words cannot pass through these 3 gates, perhaps they are better left unspoken. But right speech is not just about what we say to others. It is also about how we speak to ourselves. Notice the voice in your own mind today. Is it kind? Is it encouraging? Can you learn to be your own gentle friend? Right action flows naturally from right intention and right speech. It means living in a way that does not cause harm to yourself or others. This includes the obvious things like not stealing or being violent, but it also includes subtler actions like being present when someone is talking to you, or choosing to rest when your body needs rest rather than pushing yourself to exhaustion. Right action means recognizing that every choice you make is like dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread out in ways you cannot always see. When you choose patience over anger, when you choose generosity over selfishness, when you choose presence over distraction, you are not just helping yourself. You are contributing to the healing of the world. Right livelihood is about how we spend our working hours and how we earn our living. The Buddha taught that we should avoid work that directly harms others, but right livelihood goes deeper than that. It is about bringing mindfulness and compassion into whatever work we do. Whether you are a teacher, a doctor, a store clerk, or a parent, you can practice right livelihood by doing your work with full attention and genuine care. Even if your job is not perfect, even if you sometimes work in difficult conditions, you can still practice right livelihood by treating your colleagues with kindness, by doing your best without being attached to the results, and by remembering that every interaction is an opportunity to practice patience and compassion. Right effort is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of the path. Many people think it means trying harder, pushing yourself more, or being more disciplined. But right effort is actually about finding the balance between too much and too little. It is like tuning a musical instrument. If the strings are too tight, they will break. If they are too loose, they will not make beautiful music. Right effort means finding that sweet spot where you are engaged but not stressed, committed but not obsessed. The Buddha compared right effort to a skilled archer who knows exactly how much tension to put on the bowstring. Too much force and the arrow will miss its target. Too little force and the arrow will not reach its destination. Right effort means learning to work with your natural rhythms and energy rather than against them. Right mindfulness is the gentle awareness that we bring to each moment. It is not about having a perfectly calm mind or never getting distracted. It is about noticing when your mind wanders and gently bringing it back, like a loving parent guiding a child who has wandered off the path. Right mindfulness means paying attention to your breath, to the sensations in your body, to the thoughts and emotions that arise and pass away. It means being present for your life instead of living on autopilot. Right now, as you listen to these words, you are practicing right mindfulness. You are here, aware, present. Finally, right concentration is the practice of training your mind to rest in peace and clarity. This is where meditation comes in, but do not worry if the word meditation makes you feel nervous or inadequate. Right concentration is simply the practice of focusing your attention on one thing at a time, whether that is your breath, a prayer, or even the simple act of walking. Take a moment right now to focus on 3 breaths. Just 3. Feel the air entering your body, filling your lungs, and then gently releasing. Notice how even this simple practice creates a small space of peace in your day. This is right concentration. This is the mind learning to rest in its natural state of clarity and calm. These 8 aspects of the path work together like the instruments in a beautiful orchestra. You do not need to master them all at once. You do not need to be perfect at any of them. You just need to begin and trust that each small step you take is moving you closer to the freedom and peace that are your birthright. Now let us explore how these beautiful teachings can transform your everyday life. The real magic of Buddhist wisdom is not found in monasteries or meditation retreats, though those can be wonderful. The real magic happens when you bring this awareness into your ordinary moments, when washing dishes becomes meditation, when listening to a friend becomes an act of love, when even waiting in line becomes an opportunity to practice patience. Let me share with you the story of a great teacher named Thich Nhat Hanh, who discovered profound peace in the simplest activities. He taught that washing dishes could be just as sacred as sitting in meditation. When you wash a dish, he said, wash it as if it were the baby Buddha himself. Feel the warm water on your hands. Notice the smooth surface of the plate. Be completely present for this one simple task. This is mindfulness in daily life. It is not about doing special spiritual activities. It is about bringing full attention and gentle awareness to whatever you are already doing. When you brush your teeth tonight, can you feel the bristles against your teeth? Can you taste the toothpaste? Can you notice the movements of your hand and arm? This simple presence transforms routine into practice. Try this as you go through your day. When you are eating, really taste your food. Feel its texture, notice its temperature, appreciate the flavors dancing on your tongue. When you are walking, feel your feet touching the ground. Notice the rhythm of your steps, the movement of air against your skin, the sights and sounds around you. This is not about slowing down or taking more time. It is about being fully where you are instead of rushing ahead to the next moment. Even your conversations can become opportunities for practice. The next time someone is talking to you, see if you can listen with your whole being. Instead of thinking about what you want to say next or judging what they are sharing, simply be present for their words. Listen to their tone of voice. Notice what emotions might be beneath their words. This kind of deep listening is a gift you give to others, but it is also a gift you give to yourself. The Buddha taught about something called loving kindness, or metta in the ancient language. This is the practice of extending goodwill to all beings, starting with yourself. So often we are harsh critics of ourselves, pointing out every flaw and mistake. But what if you could learn to be your own best friend? What if you could speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer to someone you love? Try this simple practice. Place your hand on your heart and say these words silently to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be free from suffering. Feel the warmth of your hand on your chest. Notice what it feels like to offer yourself these wishes for well-being. Now extend these same wishes to someone you love. Bring their face to mind and offer them the same loving intentions. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be free from suffering. Feel how natural it is to want good things for those we care about. Here comes the beautiful challenge. Can you extend these same wishes to someone who is difficult for you? Someone who has hurt you or annoyed you or disappointed you? This does not mean approving of their actions or pretending everything is fine. It means recognizing that they, like you, want to be happy and free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be free from suffering. This practice of loving kindness is like sunlight. It does not discriminate. It shines on flowers and weeds alike, on friends and strangers, on easy days and difficult ones. The more you practice extending goodwill to all beings, the more your heart opens, and the more peace you find in your own life. One of the most liberating teachings the Buddha offered is about impermanence. Everything changes. Your difficult emotions will pass. Your challenging circumstances will shift. Your pain will transform. But also, your pleasant experiences will change too. Your moments of joy will give way to other moments. Your successes will be followed by new challenges. At first, this might sound sad, but it is actually incredibly freeing. When you truly understand that everything is temporary, you can stop holding so tightly to things. You can enjoy the good times without desperately trying to make them last forever. You can endure the difficult times knowing that they too will pass. You can let go of grudges because you understand that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal. It only burns you. Think about the last time you were really upset about something. Where is that upset now? It has passed, has it not? And the thing you were so worried about last month, how much does it matter today? This is impermanence teaching you that you can trust the flow of life. You do not need to control everything. You can learn to dance with change instead of fighting against it. There is great wisdom in the phrase, "This too shall pass." When you are experiencing joy, this too shall pass, so be fully present for it. When you are experiencing sorrow, this too shall pass, so do not lose hope. When you are experiencing anger, this too shall pass, so do not make decisions based on temporary emotions. When you are experiencing fear, this too shall pass, so breathe and remember that you have survived difficult times before. The practice of letting go is not about becoming indifferent or uncaring. It is about loving so fully that you are willing to hold things lightly. It is about caring so deeply that you can allow others to be themselves instead of trying to change them. It is about trusting life so completely that you can relax your grip on how you think things should be and open to how they actually are. As you go through your day today, see if you can practice this gentle letting go. When something does not go according to your plans, can you breathe and say, "This too shall pass"? When someone irritates you, can you remember that they are struggling just like you are? When you catch yourself worrying about the future, can you gently return to this moment, the only moment you actually have? This is how Buddhist wisdom becomes a living practice. not through perfect meditation or flawless understanding, but through bringing awareness, kindness, and acceptance into each ordinary moment of your precious human life. As you begin to walk this gentle path of awakening, you will discover that it is not always smooth or easy. This is not because you are doing anything wrong, but because growth itself requires us to move through periods of uncertainty and challenge. The Buddha himself faced many obstacles on his journey, and he taught that these difficulties are not roadblocks, but rather opportunities to deepen our understanding and compassion. One of the most common obstacles you might encounter is doubt. Your mind might whisper things like, "Am I really changing? Is this practice actually working? Maybe I am not cut out for this spiritual stuff." When doubt arises, remember that it is completely normal and even healthy. Doubt means you are thinking for yourself rather than blindly following. The key is not to push doubt away, but to hold it lightly, like a cloud passing through the sky of your awareness. Another obstacle is restlessness. You might find that when you try to be present, your mind becomes even more active and scattered. This is like stirring up sediment in a glass of muddy water. The stirring does not create the mud, it just makes visible what was already there. Be patient with your restless mind. With gentle persistence, the mud will settle and the water will become clear again. Sometimes you might become attached to your spiritual progress itself. You might catch yourself thinking, "I have been meditating for 3 months now. I should be more peaceful." Or, "Yesterday I felt so calm and loving. Why do I feel anxious today?" This is the ego trying to turn even your spiritual practice into another project to achieve and control. When you notice this happening, smile gently at yourself and remember that the path itself is the destination. There will be days when you forget everything you have learned. You will react with anger, get caught up in worry, or find yourself judging others harshly. These moments are not failures. They are wake-up calls. They are your wise inner teacher saying, here is another opportunity to practice compassion, starting with yourself." The Sanskrit word for practitioner means one who falls down and gets up again. So when you fall down, simply get up, dust yourself off, and begin again. One of the most beautiful aspects of the Buddhist path is that you do not have to walk it alone. Throughout history, practitioners have supported each other in what is called the Sangha, the community of practice. This might be a local meditation group, an online community, or even just one friend who shares your interest in living with greater awareness and kindness. Having companions on the path reminds you that you are not the only one who struggles with difficult emotions or gets distracted during meditation. When you see others practicing with sincerity and gentleness, it encourages your own practice. When you support others in their moments of difficulty, you strengthen your own capacity for compassion. But even if you never join a formal community, remember that all beings are walking this path of learning to be free from suffering. The person who cuts you off in traffic is trying to be happy in their own confused way. The difficult family member who always criticizes you is struggling with their own pain. The homeless person you pass on the street is seeking the same peace and security that you are. When you remember this, the whole world becomes your Sangha. As your practice deepens, you will begin to notice subtle but profound changes in how you experience life. You might find that you do not get angry as quickly or stay upset as long. You might notice that you are more patient with your children, more understanding with your partner, more compassionate with yourself. You might discover that you can enjoy simple pleasures more fully because you are not constantly reaching for something else. These changes often happen so gradually that you might not notice them yourself, but others will. People might comment that you seem calmer or more present or easier to be around. They might not be able to put their finger on what is different, but they will sense that something has shifted in you. You might also find that you experience joy for no particular reason, not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you have learned to touch the peace that exists beneath all circumstances. You might find yourself smiling at small things, a bird singing outside your window, the way sunlight falls across your kitchen table, the feeling of cool air on your skin. This is your natural joy beginning to shine through as the clouds of worry and wanting start to clear. The path of Buddhist practice is sometimes called the gradual awakening because it unfolds slowly, like a flower opening petal by petal. There is no finish line to cross, no final achievement to unlock. Every moment offers a fresh opportunity to wake up a little more, to love a little deeper, to let go a little more completely. Some days your practice will feel strong and clear. Other days it will feel like you are just going through the motions. Both are perfect. Both are part of the journey. The key is to keep showing up, keep beginning again, keep treating yourself and others with the tenderness that all beings deserve. Remember that the Buddha taught for 45 years after his awakening, and even he continued to learn and grow throughout his life. Your own journey of awakening is not a problem to be solved, but a gift to be unwrapped slowly, with patience, wonder, and infinite compassion for yourself, and all beings who share this beautiful, challenging, temporary experience of being human. As we come to the end of our time together today, let us pause and feel what has shifted within you during this gentle exploration. Perhaps you notice a softness in your breathing, a quietness in your mind, or simply a sense of coming home to yourself. This is not something you have achieved or earned. This is your natural state of being, temporarily revealed when the dust of worry and wanting settles. The beautiful truth about Buddhist wisdom is that it is not foreign or exotic. It is not about becoming someone different or special. It is about recognizing what has always been true about you. You have always had the capacity for peace. You have always had the ability to love. You have always carried within you the light of awareness that can transform any moment, any circumstance, any relationship. The four noble truths that we explored together are not abstract concepts to memorize. They are living realities to discover in your own experience. Suffering exists, yes, but it is not permanent and it is not who you are. The causes of suffering can be understood, and more importantly, they can be transformed. The end of suffering is possible, not as some distant goal, but as moments of freedom that you can taste right now. And the path to this freedom is not complicated or mysterious. It is as simple and profound as paying attention, speaking kindly, acting wisely, and holding all things with an open heart. The Eightfold Path is not a checklist to complete, but a way of being in the world that honors both your own well-being and the well-being of all life. Every day offers countless opportunities to practice right understanding by seeing situations more clearly. Every conversation is a chance to practice right speech by choosing words that heal rather than harm. Every decision is an opportunity to practice right action by choosing what serves the highest good. Remember that this practice is not about perfection. It is about direction. You do not need to become a flawless meditator or a perfectly compassionate person. You just need to keep pointing your heart toward truth, toward kindness, toward the peace that surpasses all understanding. Some days you will remember to practice. Some days you will forget. Both are part of the path. The mindfulness we have touched upon today is always available to you. Whether you are washing dishes or walking to work, whether you are listening to a friend or sitting in silence, you can always return to this moment. You can always come back to your breath, back to your body, back to the simple awareness that is reading these words right now. The loving kindness we explored is not a special technique, but your heart's natural response when it is not clouded by fear or hurt. Every being you meet is seeking happiness and trying to avoid suffering just like you. When you remember this, compassion arises spontaneously. When you forget this, you can always begin again. The understanding of impermanence that we discussed is not meant to make you sad, but to set you free. Because everything changes, your current difficulties will pass. Because everything changes, you do not need to hold so tightly to things. Because everything changes, every moment is a fresh beginning, pregnant with infinite possibility. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the knowing that you are never alone on this path. Every person who has ever lived has struggled with the human condition of wanting to be happy and free from suffering. Every person who practices even one moment of mindfulness or kindness is contributing to the healing of our world. You do not need to meditate for hours or retreat to a monastery to benefit from these teachings. You can start exactly where you are, with whatever circumstances surround you. You can begin with one conscious breath, one kind word, one moment of truly listening to another person. You can start by being gentle with yourself, by speaking to your own heart the way you would speak to someone you love dearly. The light that you have been seeking in all your searching, in all your striving, in all your hoping for something better, that light has been shining within you all along. It has never been dimmed by your mistakes or your struggles. It has never been diminished by your doubts or your fears. It is the light of your own awakened nature, patiently waiting for you to recognize it, to trust it, to let it guide you home. May you walk gently upon this earth. May you treat yourself and all beings with infinite tenderness. May you find peace in the midst of chaos, joy in the simplest moments, and the wisdom to know that everything you need for true happiness already lives within your own precious heart. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings live with ease and in peace. And may you, dear friend, awaken more and more each day to the boundless love and wisdom that are your true nature. The journey continues with your very next breath. Begin there, begin now, begin again, as many times as necessary, with a heart full of compassion for yourself and all of life.